This is the cover page of Micrographia, a book written in 1665 by the great English scientist Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke, who has worked in various fields like physics, biology, geology, architecture, etc., used a microscope that he built himself to study insects and plants. Micrographia is his books that talks about the results of his study. The book has very well written descriptions of his findings and also contains illustrations like this. This is what blood-sucking lice that live on the human head look like when Robert Hooke saw them through his microscope. This is what the flea that lives on the human body look like. Frightening, aren't they? But in this chapter, we will talk about this great scientist for a very important finding of his. This is what the microscope design made by Robert Hooke looked like. It had a system of lenses and a way to illuminate the specimen he was studying. Let us read some of the descriptions he wrote in his book to come to his important finding. He says, with a sharp penknife, I cut off an exceedingly thin piece of cork, placed it on a black object plate, and casting the light on it with a deep plano-convex glass, I could plainly perceive it to be all perforated and porous, much like a honeycomb, but that the pores of it were not regular. These pores, or cells, were not very deep, but consisted of a great many little boxes, separated out of one continued long pore by certain diaphragms. This is what the cork cells look like through the microscope. The image to the left is when the cork is sliced along the length of the stem, and to the right is when the cork is sliced across the length of the stem. About the size of the cells, Robert Hooke writes, I found that there were usually about 60 of these small cells placed end to end in the 18th part of an inch in length, from which I concluded there may be near 1100 of them, or somewhat more than 1000 in the length of an inch, and therefore in a square inch above a million, and in a cubic inch about 1200 millions. A thing almost incredible. End of quote. Incredible indeed. I hope that gives you an interest in seeing what other things this chapter unfolds.